I wanted to show y'all my Death Star 1 Millennium Falcon Bay diorama. First, I have to give credit to diorama.com. That's where I followed the plans, the how to build. Also the free downloadables as far as the decal prints. All that is available to you for free. So that's basically the benchmark that I use as far as building my diorama. I did go off on my own on several areas to make it my own design. I'm not finished. I plan to build a roof with scaffolding and trusses and with LED lights going across the top to try to get more realistic lighting. I still have this side under construction, as you can tell. I pretty much followed the design of the original Star Wars in 1977, the way it was put together before George Lucas pretty much redid the walls for the Blu-ray release. So just a simple how I did it. One thing that I did do differently that be different from dioramaworkshop.com is I used cardboard paper rolls that I have laying everywhere at my office at work for the columns. The way he did it, he used foam board. He would cut a ellipse and a base and basically made the skeleton from scratch, and got construction paper and laid it across the top for the skin, and then applied the decals. I had a problem getting the surface to be perfectly smooth. It looked lumpy and it was a little bit too delicate. So what I was using was these guys here, and they happened to be the perfect radius if I was to cut it in half. And I chopped them the proper height, and I used a skill saw, believe it or not, to cut these. These are, they're pretty thick. And then I made a flat back with a poster board just like this to get a nice smooth back surface, and I used hot glue and smacked it on my wall, and as you can see, it's perfectly round and pretty sturdy. It's not gonna crumble or dent when you touch it, so that worked out pretty good. As far as the stickers, all from Diorama Workshop. At first I did what he recommended, using sticker paper for the printer, which makes a lot of sense. You get a nice smooth flat surface and they're on there pretty much for good. But my problem is, when I started using that, is when I started applying my decals over here, I realized one or two were a little bit crooked. And once you apply those on the poster board, that's it. I mean, they're not coming off. I mean, if you take them off, it's going to rip off the paper topping of the foam board, and then you got a mess. So what I did is I just use regular old rubber cement. I used a fine coat on the back of the paper. But when I did this, I just printed it on regular paper. And I was able to slide them around, get them positioned perfectly straight. Then I just used a squeegee and smooth them out, and it came out perfect. I mean, I was able to get them lined up perfectly straight. If I screwed up, no big deal. I can just slide it around to where I got it straight, because the rubber cement doesn't really adhere, doesn't dry up immediately. You have enough time to mess around with it. And any excess that you might get on your decals, or anywhere you don't want the glue to show up, after it dries, it just turns into rubber. You can just scrape it right off with your finger and it doesn't leave any residue or anything. So I found that for me, much easier, much more hassle-free. Of course, it didn't eliminate a lot of the screw-ups. I mean, everything you see here I probably have done 2 or 3 times, multiple times, to get to what you're looking at now. So that's one thing I did differently. I made the magnetic field thicker than what he did, and I left a little space between the magnetic field and the background to give it more of a 3D-ish depth feel. The stars are hand painted with acrylic paint. I just got a Q-tip and I just applied different pressure along the way to make faint stars, bigger stars, closer stars, and to give it a real dimensional look to it. He has a frame going across the top. I didn't really do that. I might later, I'm not sure, because I plan, right now it's all the same height. I mean, I made my magnetic field a little bit wider and longer to accommodate the very large Mullion Falcon. He used the small one, the original size version. Of course, we all know this one is ginormous, so I kind of scaled up the magnetic field to make it look a little bit more proportional, like it could fit through it. I did use the vinyl flooring. As you can see, it gave a nice shiny surface to it. The elevator shaft, he had his 1 unit thick. When I say 1 unit, I mean 1 unit deep. When I say that, 1 decal sticker deep. On mine, I made mine twice as deep, as you can see here. Gave it more realistic look, and he had his elevator bay open, which means there was no elevator platform or troops on it, which I decided to add that, which I thought was pretty cool. And I put a LED light down here. It's battery operated and the batteries are pretty low, so I need to change it, but it does give a cool effect, and it looks very deep. You see, it's pretty deep. Again, on dioramaworkshop.com, see where the right here, this is where it ends. He had his that deep. I made mine twice as deep, as you can see. Let me get down there and look. And then I added a platform. The platform is just poster board, and again I put the vinyl wrap on it so it gets a nice shiny look to it, and put some troops on it. The barrels are little, they call them pickle barrels at Hobby Lobby. They're wooden. They're originally with this color right here. So I just painted a couple black and a couple gray, moved and placed them where I saw them in pictures of movie stills. There's some more barrels there. It's not, here, really, not movie accurate. I mean, really, Obi-Wan or Darth Vader were battling over here. So I decided to, due to space depth, I had to kind of shorten the depth of my bits off. I actually had to take about, there's another 3 inches right here. Control, there's another panel where from the control people. I get shut down control room here. Factor D2 and C2. More unit on the trash computer right there. Here. There was one student of sticks I had right here. Cut that off, according a little bit of the space. I had to cut, but I often shortened the area. Vader and did make this fought. Not where Darth was Obi and Kenobi are remembered. So it was pretty. Everybody knows over here. Back wall. That so cool. Depth. I added a bit more realism to give it some. Make it on his decal and blast doors. Also on cows, you can either have the pain in the ass open with, or you can put kind of paint that makes it like they're closed when they're both open. A decal kind of cool. Blast doors. One thing I want differently is I thought over here. I put some lighting. Decided to put that there, and then you got lighting there. It looks pretty cool. And puts reflection on the floor. It goes at the floor. You know, looks polished, just like in the movie. And really, you can really add to this, but I'm out of space. I mean, adding this room back here is an afterthought. As you can see, originally it ended here. I was just going to do this, and that was it. But I added this extra piece back here so I could make that extra room in the back and put Darth and Obi-Wan battling out the last and final time. I pretty much followed this to a T using straws and painting them black and gray. Supposedly IKEA has the straws already black and gray, but IKEA was too far from the drive, so I just bought regular straws and painted them primer gray and flat black for the cables, the conduits, I guess you could say. And I had a hard time getting smooth cuts around the edges, so in order to make it look nice and smooth, I got black construction paper and lined the insides so it gives a nice smooth look to it. I did this twice. I did this bay twice. I did this twice. I did this damn thing 3 times. I kept screwing up on the cutting. Still, there's a lot of imperfections. You don't see it on the video, but I know where they're at. I'm not going to tell you. So there's a wall starting here, and it's going to come all the way across here. It's going to have more of those columns. Like I said, if you go to diorama workshop.com, go to Star Wars New Hope, Falcon Bay, you'll see what's missing here. The conduits continue here. Like I said, I am going to add a roof with some, I'm probably going to use balsa wood and straws to make structures, trusses, and stuff like that. I'm going to place LED lights on top. Another thing that I'm not done doing is that I added LED lights for the landing strip, I guess you'd call it. This is battery operated. Bought it at Hobby Lobby. Flick it on, and then now you got lights. See? Lights. There's another row that goes right here, and another row that follows these stripes here, so I'll have 3. And you see I got black tape here. I'm covering up the lights down here, but they are spaced out too close. So what I did, which I might change later, I'm going to try it out when I do these other 2 lines over here. I placed black electrical tape and covered every other one all the way to the one I want to show lit, and that spacing was absolutely perfect. I mean, I had a image on the computer that I followed, and each light hit the stripe perfectly. Then I covered all the ones right here with black electrical tape. You can't really see it on the video. You really can't see it in person. But I have extra vinyl. I thought about, instead of doing this method, I thought using the vinyl to do the other 2, so it would be a perfect match for the flooring. But I thought that was pretty cool. That's another thing that I did differently that he didn't have on his workshop. Again, it makes it my own. I can't take all the credit for all this. I mean, I can take all the credit for building it, but I can't take the ideas because I followed his plans. I mean, he was really detailed on how to build this stuff. Get a better look down here. And this thing kind of took a life on its own. I mean, I'm sure as I move on to where I think I'm finished, I'm probably going to think of new stuff to do. I know there's some scaffolding that goes right around here, and there's some that shows up right around there where my scaffolding commanders are. I've seen some playing up here. It moves, so I mean, I'm just pop. But if you try to stay, might make it accurate as much as possible. My ass, things of my own, look cooler, I guess. And so as far as poster board, elevated board. So this post pieces, foam cut a slit. I did, and just cut 2X, and this them out. Kind of made it where I think where it needed space to support, which pretty where the most sits. I got a wedges right there, so it's pretty much stable. My Falcon, very stable bunch, right? Pretty dog, or not size to run into. If either third to my Death Star, or just again to be eyes of glue because it's tape, all poster hot cardboard. Nothing wood board and any kind of a light, nothing medium stamp packed. The most sturdy part of the display is probably the prettiest magnetic fit. Probably it's pretty. Got the sturdy against the wall. It's against the wall. And as far as making the, I thought it was a great idea from workshop.com is to cut dents like an accordion. Not paper, just to let it's intact. And you can use a foam, make a perfect ready so with the foam board. You can see it gives a nice boardness. You can stick. So if you want to know how to build this one-on-one, and diorama.workshop.com. Again, if you want to shop, recommend using these cardboard tubes. If you can get a hold of them, and much works better. You can and then build from scratch. Much you're excellent on cutting from a really straight line. And by all means, do it the way he did it because it looks great on the computer. But I wasn't very successful doing it the way he had it detailed on his website. I hope you like it. If y'all got any questions or suggestions, I'm wondering how I'm going to do the roof, or even should I do a roof, but I think it would look pretty cool to do it. And then another diorama that I've neglected because I've been working on this, which I'm going to get back into, is the Yavin Rebel Base. All I've done here is just made the ground, got the ships and the figures and everything that I'm probably going to have in my scene. These are pretty cool. These are little lanterns I got at dollar store. They light up two ways. First click is on the bottom. Second is right here. And you can place these there, and at night or when the lights are out, you got, as long as it's dark enough, it really adds a cool effect to it. And I got these all four corners, pretty much around the whole area. And look, it's pretty neat. I know it's not in the movie, but I thought it looked pretty cool. It adds a cool effect. For my Energizer boxes, these are just the electrical boxes you put in the wall for your sockets. At Home Depot, they usually come blue or sometimes gray. These were blue, so I painted them black, primer gray. And it's got some extra wire, thin gauge, so they bend real easy. And just stuck them in there. I thought it looked pretty cool. So I'll be paying more attention to this later. I'm going to build the walls and make it more movie accurate. I don't know how far I'm going to go with it, but this will be my next one I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to. And then my very first diorama I ever built was, we all know this scene. This was a very simple one. I didn't really go into much thought and detail with this. As far as the panels, those are jelly packs that I used. I should have trimmed them down to make them not so fat. But again, I didn't spend much time on it. I just kind of put it together in a couple of days. But it looks pretty cool. I followed a picture on the internet as I go by as where to place my figures. I always try to pick a particular scene in the movie and go by that. These are some of the stuff I have. We got every TIE fighter appropriately above the Death Star. That wasn't planned, it just happened to happen that way. Let's see, what else can I tell y'all about my diorama? Yeah, that's about it. Can't wait till I finish it. It's been a lot of fun so far. It's taken me 2 months, a day during the week, and a designated, usually a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday on it. So got a lot of hours put into it so far. And that's all I got for now. Y'all got any ideas or suggestions or comments? Feel free just to comment. Thanks for watching.